Hey, it's Rebecca, and you're listening to Resilient by Design. Today, I'm offering up another shorty episode, and this time, this mic keeps clanging, and this time, it's all about how to stay motivated as an entrepreneur. And I really thought this would be fun to just have a short episode, just to give you some tangible advice on the things that you can do. And specifically, I have podcast episodes that I have recorded over the past year and a half or so that speak specifically to this, that you can go back to listen depending on where you're at. All right. I'm Rebecca Hay, and I've built a successful interior design business by trial and error, podcasts, online courses, and so many freaking books. Over the last decade, I've grown from an insecure student to having false starts to careers, and now I'm finally in the place where I want to be. Throughout my journey, it's been pretty obvious that I'm passionate about business and helping other entrepreneurs do the same. Each week, I'll share tangible takeaways from my own experience and the experiences of other badass women to help you build your confidence and change your business. I'm going to have some of my chamomile tea because I got an upset tummy. It really sucks. Trying to eat too many vegetables, guys. That's what you get. Truth. But really, I do want to acknowledge that running a business, I don't care what kind of business you run, it is fucking stressful. There. I said it. I swore. I'm using my foul mouth today because I feel like it's a constant roller coaster. And you're climbing, and like, woo, you get momentum and things are killing it. And then you're like, oh no, there's a setback. Oh, there's an obstacle. Oh, I don't think I can do this. Oh, there's self-doubt. Oh, there's comparison. And it's like, boom. And then you have to talk yourself back up again. And I don't know about you, but that's been my experience over the last decade, is the ups and downs, the tears, the joy, the uncertainty of it being in the messy middle. And I know that so many of you have experienced this at one point, and if you haven't yet, you will, because that's just the reality of running a business. It's funny, I'm on all these newsletters. I'm subscribed to all these newsletters, and this one guy, I don't even know who it was, he sent out a newsletter today, and he talked about how in order to run a successful business, it's not about following your passion, which is obviously quite controversial to say because everyone always says, follow your passion, you'll find, and like, you'll just be happy forever and you'll make lots of money. But he was saying that's actually not true. What you need to realize is that every single business, regardless of if it starts as a passion, eventually is the same thing. Why is my mic making these sounds? This is driving me crazy. Essentially, every business ends up being managing people, dealing with customer service, crunching the numbers, like all the boring, shitty parts of running a business will eventually befall your business, whether it's a passion or not. And so he talks about the power of accepting that. And it was really powerful for me when I read it because I thought, oh, it's so true. You know, this idea of like I keep, pursuing my passions. And I don't fully subscribe to what he's saying because I do think that if you're passionate about something, you're more likely to motivate yourself and to push yourself. And that's what today's episode is about, is how do you stay motivated? Because like, how do you stay motivated as an entrepreneur when, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. And sometimes the people who are a little bit further behind you, they surpass you. And then all of a sudden they're somehow further ahead than you. And you're like, what did I do wrong? And if you're nodding your head, you can relate to this feeling of, am I doing it right? Am I good enough at this? And I think this might really more apply to the women in my audience because I know from being married to a man that he often says he never has those thoughts, which is amazing. And I would like to have some of that so he could just give me more of that. That would be wonderful. But I do believe that I'm going to talk you through kind of like 4 different areas and give you some examples of episodes in this podcast that you can go listen to if that's where you're at right now to help keep you motivated, because I will be the first to recognize and share with you and be super honest. I am not always motivated in what I do. regardless of what it is, whether it's design projects, whether it's podcasts, whether it's, I don't know, vacation with my kids, whether it's a date night with my husband, whether it's coaching. Like, I don't just wake up in the morning feeling naturally motivated every day. In fact, I would probably say that most days I wake up and I don't feel like jumping out of bed and kickstarting my day. There are certainly days that are like that. But there are certain things that you can do, or certain hacks or mindset tricks that you can do to help keep yourself in the game, even when you're feeling like it's a drag. So the very first tip and bit of advice that I have for you is, my stomach, is what lights you up? Like, really, what lights you up? And I don't mean like, interior design, like that's my passion, like that's why I'm running that as a business and it's amazing. No, like what specifically is your unique ability? And you guys have probably heard me talk about this on Instagram, but I, a little while ago, was reading that book, Unique Ability. There's like 2.0 discovery, and they have these exercises that you can go through where you start to find out from other people in your life and from doing different personality tests and the Colby Index and the Myers-Briggs, like what is it that is unique to who you are? Because chances are, if you are feeling unmotivated, you are out of alignment with the things that light you up, with who you are. And so for me, I've become really hyper aware of, one of the things that lights me up is that I'm an includer. So for me, I get lit up when I include people and I bring in the marginalized, or when I bring people together, gathering people. So when I look back at times where I've been maybe less motivated than last year, it's probably because I've been doing less physical activities and outings with other people. It's been a lot of like Zoom, right? Working one-on-one with my designer or my admin or a freelancer in my office. Like that is not the includer. The includer in me is not, that cup is not filling up. And so once you understand what is it that lights you up, what is your unique ability? I mean, I have it pinned over there on my corkboard. I have like a little cue card that I cut into a square, and I have my 5, the Myers-Briggs personality, the top 5 things. I don't know. And, one of them is communication. So for me, if I'm not in a situation where I feel like I can communicate, I feel like I can present, then I'm going to start to feel a little stifled. And so recognizing what your unique ability is will help you to ensure that you are tackling at least once a week something that is in that zone, like that zone of genius, right? What is it that you can do? I could go and be a guest on Darla Powell's podcast. Shout out to Darla Powell, Wingnut Social. Love that woman. And I feel freaking lit up and I feel motivated. And I'm like, yeah, I love doing what I'm doing. I get to connect with her. This is amazing. I get to communicate my thoughts and I get to help people. And that kind of lights me up. And then I might go for a few weeks without that. So it's looking for what are those activities that fall within your unique ability that you can then bring more into your life to help you stay lit up, which will in turn help you feel motivated. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is an episode of the podcast. It's episode 194. So if you have a pen, write this down, and I'll make sure that Vera links these in our show notes. But episode number 194 is a 5-minute motivator when you're stuck in the messy middle. It was a short little episode that I did that I think is really powerful if you're feeling like, like you're dragging yourself and you just want to pick me up, and a reminder that like you will get through this. If you are feeling down about yourself or where you're at, or you're just feeling negative, go listen to that episode. I read a piece, I was going to say scripture, it's not from the Bible. I read like an excerpt from a speech from a famous I think it was an American president. And anyhow, and we talk about the context of it. And I think it really inspired me at the time. A lot of this podcast is when I'm dealing with crap in my life, I'm like, I need to work through this and I'm going to share what's working for me with you guys. So I think it was helpful. That's why I recorded it. So go give that one a listen. That's 194. Next, a really incredible tool to help you feel more motivated is to pause and have a vision session with yourself. Like, lie down in bed at night, close your eyes and say, okay, what is my vision for the future? get yourself excited about something. This is an exercise that I do inside Power of Process, and I make everyone do a visualization with me. And like, obviously people don't have to do it, but I think that you will be successful with me if you do it. And it's the woo-woo in me, but I recorded an episode of this podcast with Luann Nigara. I don't need to remind you who she is. She is like the queen of podcasting in our industry. But Luann, who's a phenomenal human, shout out to Luann of A Well-Designed Business. Luann talked about how in her early years she learned the power of visualization, which is why that podcast episode is titled Visualize Your Way to Success with Luann Nigara. Now, obviously there's much more that goes into being successful than visualization, but in that episode, she and I really get into the nitty-gritty and into that real like personal level of what does that look like to visualize, and how has visualization helped her with her confidence grow her business. And I think that it's something that you could do, like listen to that episode. That's episode 188 of Resilient by Design. But also just close your eyes and visualize, or take 20 minutes, an hour of your day, put together a dream life Pinterest board, a secret Pinterest board. Have fun. Envision. Create I'm just staring up here on my wall. I have these vision boards. I have one there, I have two there. One's really old. One's newer that I just did last year. Like, get some magazines out, tear out pictures. And actually something that's really neat that I just did for the first time last year, and I've always, not always, but I would say for the last decade, I've really leaned into vision boards. And to be honest, I did do them back when I lived in Vancouver and I was in design school. I did start vision boarding them, but I haven't done it consistently until maybe the last 5 years. And it's something that last year I just learned from my friend, where she does it differently, where she, like, before I'd be really intentional with my vision board, I'm like, okay, I would come up with the vision, then I would find images that match my vision, which I think is a great way to do it. But what she suggested to me, and you guys could try this too, is she gets all the magazines, and there's something about the physical magazines that's different than digital, I have to say, because I've done it both ways. And she just goes through and just starts ripping things out that speak to her with no agenda. So in this scenario, she is letting the universe, some higher power, just kind of like direct her. And she's like pulling things out, and then she just starts cutting out words. So I did that the last time, and it was really interesting. I kept ripping out golf courses and women golfing. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I've always kind of wanted to learn how to golf. Like, is this my sign from the universe that like I need to take golf lessons? It was a really cool thing, and it kind of got me excited about life again. So I recommend that as a tactic. The next one I'm going to share with you is just an episode. Go give it a listen. It's episode 186 of Resilient by Design, and it is titled Non-Negotiable Productivity Hacks That Changed My Life. The reason I sort of threw this episode in here as a recommendation is because I think how you time block and organize your week, or how you organize your time, is everything to keeping you motivated. And so once you listen to that episode, I mean, I share 5 hacks, but I do talk a little bit about time blocking. And it's been really powerful for me to take chunks of time that I know are dedicated to certain activities. And so that I don't feel at the end of the week like I've been pulled in 500 million directions, because that's how it was in the first couple of years running my business. I was so exhausted. I was also a new mom. Like, I don't know. I just wish I had this. Oh, man. I wish I hadn't been like that as a new mom, because I feel like I just made my life harder on me, but I didn't know any better. I didn't know. And I didn't have the nerve or the balls or the guts to like be strict about my calendar and be strict about my boundaries with clients when it came to like text messaging and getting in touch with me in the evening or the weekends and that type of thing. But that really will help your mental sanity, because you could also find ways to schedule in those things that motivate you, right? Those things that light you up, that are your unique ability. Maybe it's connecting, like maybe you're a connector and you just want to be with people in person, but your job now is very little of that. Well, maybe you intentionally go every Wednesday afternoon to see 3 vendors. Or maybe you meet a friend for coffee on Fridays. Like, I don't know what it is for you, but looking at your calendar to try and get routine activities, and I think this is what's key, is routine activities that are going to contribute to that big long-term picture that you've envisioned, because you're going to feel motivated on a regular basis so you don't get burnt out. And then lastly, I just think this is really, it's relevant. It's not exactly a motivator, but I think it's kind of an inspiring episode because it reminds you you're not alone when it comes to the money. And it's episode 175, and that is managing inconsistent income as a business owner, because that can really get us down, is this sort of inconsistent, like, woo, I just collected $7,500, or I just collected $130,000, like, woo, we're soaring. And then 3 months in and you started paying out all your vendors, you're like, oh, where's my next project coming from? Oh my gosh, I'm stressed out. How do I manage this? Listen to that episode. I help kind of talk you off the ledge when it comes to that, so that you are better prepared for those highs and those lows of your money. And I think if we can start to eliminate some of these stressors in our business, then you'll feel happier and you'll feel more motivated and you'll be more excited and you'll want to step out and go and meet a new potential client and you'll get excited about it. All right, I hope those were helpful. Go check out those episodes. Again, they were episode 194, a 5-minute motivator when you're stuck in the messy middle. Episode 188 is visualize your way to success, and with Luann Nigara. Episode 186 is non-negotiable productivity hacks that changed my life. True story. And then episode 175 is managing inconsistent income as a business owner. Go forth and prosper. I hope this helps you kick up the motivation, get a little bit excited. It's spring, the weather's improving, and it's going to be a really great spring summer. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to support you guys more in your business. Come join us inside Designer's Room. If you're not already in there, so much exciting things going on in there. Just go to RebeccaHay.com/join and you can learn all about it. I would love to welcome you inside our community. And that's it for this shorty episode. I'll see you soon.